welcome everybody to this Q&A about the broadcasting partnership between the European Ultimate Federation and Solid Sport. We know that there has been a lot of questions about what's going on with this partnership, and we're here to hopefully explain everything about it so that everyone understands it better and answer any questions that the Ultimate community has. I'm Ravi Vasudevan here moderating this video, and I'll be joined shortly by Adi Andrea Furlan, the president of the European Ultimate Federation, Felix Nemetz, Nemo, the event manager for the European Ultimate Federation, and Andreas Westerlund from Solid Sport. Welcome, everybody. You guys all want to introduce yourself quickly? Maybe we'll start with you, Andreas, since I'm sure that most of the community knows everybody else, but tell us a little bit about yourself and Solid Sport.
Yeah, thank you. Andreas, as you say, is my name, and I'm working as the Chief Commercial Officer here at Solid Sport. Work with various of our partnerships around Europe, and look forward to talk here today about our newest one with the European Ultimate Federation.
Thanks, Andreas. Nemo, want to quickly introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know you?
Hi, everyone. Nemo, the event manager of the EUF. Happy to talk to you about this partnership and how it will impact the events to come.
Okay, and Adi?
Yeah, last but not least, Adi Andrea Furlan, the president of the European Ultimate Federation. Yeah, very exciting to hear your question, and hope we'll be able to clarify everything that you need to know.
Okay, so just to break down how we're going to run this show, we're going to start. Adi and the other guys are going to give a presentation that will hopefully answer most of the questions that people have, and just lay out exactly what this partnership is about. After that, we're going to go to the FAQ from a bunch of people that submitted questions earlier. We have a few of them selected, and hopefully that clears up a bit. And then finally, we'll open things up and answer questions that are coming at us live from the chat. So feel free to put questions into the chat on Solid Sport if you have them, and we will hope to get to them in that final bit of the video. So with that, I'll give it over to Adi, and we can start with the presentation on the partnership between the EUF and Solid Sport.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. So in this video, we will address these points. So we want to talk about our vision as a European Ultimate Federation about streaming, and how the tender process worked, why we selected then Solid Sport as our new stream partner for the upcoming 4 years. Then we want to give you an overview of what we have planned to stream in the upcoming season. And finally, probably what also you are very interested to know, which are the packages that we are planning to offer to watch Ultimate on the European Ultimate Frisbee channel. And then we're open for your questions, and we'll try to give as good answer as we can. Starting with the vision, first of all, maybe I explain who EUF is for those ones that maybe don't know exactly what is the European Ultimate Federation. So we are non-for-profit organization based in Vienna, and we are responsible for Ultimate in Europe. And our members are the national federations, and we organize various events, and that's our mission is exactly to organize national team events, but also an yearly club championship that you have already heard. Probably this year there are already some new formats with the spring tours, the elite invite, the summer tours to conclude then into the European Ultimate Championship finals. We are a volunteer organization, so we have now grown and are able to have one full-time employee, Nemo, and then we are cooperating part-time with for projects with part-time people that help us to manage all this amount of ideas and tasks that a growing organization like for our sport needs to tackle. This vision that we have, of course, it's let's say a long-term one, and we would like to be able to stream all games that we organize. And in order to do that, we need a certain partners that are able to be flexible in the quality and the quantity of the production and the distribution that we'll have in European Ultimate. We want to be able to give access to European Ultimate Federation tournaments to everybody. And this should be done by lowering the cost and having sponsors that carry the cost. And yeah, in order to do that, we are aware that sponsor would support us only if we have a certain exposure. And we don't just want to cover the tournament cost, let's say, and allow players to have cheap tournament fees, but we also want to have a stable sources of income to be able to also support all the development projects that actually are part also of the European Ultimate Federation. And of course, the streams shouldn't be just only for the UF event. We want to be able to offer a platform that is usable also for any kind of ultimate event in Europe for our members or also invitation tournaments. And in order to do that, yeah, we have started looking for a partner that could can help us in the goals that we want to reach. And first of all, of course, we want to be able to sustain the streaming cost in a stable way, and moving them out from the pockets of the participants, and yeah, still being able to cover the cost and also scale and go there, as we said, stream as many games as possible, because as you have seen already with this ranking system that we have implemented this year, we want to be able to create and tell a story about the whole season. And the more we are able to stream, the better the story will be, the more exposure the teams and also the players will have, and we will have exactly those role models that we want to create and be an inspiration also for many others to start playing or to get better in playing. In our experiences in the past, we realized that we are not expert in distribution of streaming, and we need somebody that is able to guide us, to advise us in what is the most efficient way for a small organization like us to grow and be able to keep on going, let's say. And ideally, we have also some add-ons, so additional goals, and if possible, it would be great also to be able not to stream on our own platforms, but be able to send a signal and restream also on other platforms, and so having better marketing and sponsorship possibilities. Already addressed, yeah, the workload that we will have. We know it's going to be high, and we need the possibility to optimize that and get the needed support also from the partner to be able to do that. One thing that was also very important for us is that it's us, it's our product, it's our stream, it's European Ultimate, so we are the one owning the platform, owning the material. And with this idea, we structured the standard that we started end of last year. Just to remind you maybe where we come from. 2015 was the first time that the European Ultimate Federation tournament was streamed. That was in Copenhagen, the European Ultimate Championship. And there we had SkyD, an American platform at that time. And they cooperated with FanSeat, and we paid, so the tournament out of the players' fee paid for the production, and that was the beginning. And that time we got to know FanSeat, and we started partnering. And for the next 4 years, we had a deal with them. That was the first time that we had to learn a lot. And FanSeat, as you maybe know, was behind a paywall, and according for the contract, they paid for the production, but they owned everything, and we as a federation had not that much to say about it. And that was a good learning, and in 2021 we decided to take another approach, and with AltTV, that was already working for FanSeat as a production company. We decided, okay, let's try to go free to watch. Of course, we had to finance AltTV, and we decided to pay their costs with the tournament fees, and the deal was we own the product, so the stream, but the channel will be on AltTV. And now, beginning 2024, we have decided after a very detailed and thought process to partner with Solid Sport. And Nemo will explain us the way to this decision.
Yes, thank you. So it was a tender process that we started at the end of season 2023. And here's a quick overview of what this included. So how did we come to a decision in the end? We first made a public tender document. We had a structured scorecard. We had a difference in the bids that we've gotten. I will go into this in a second regarding only production and the whole broadcasting setup. We then did interviews with the bidders, and in the end had some additional survey feedback that we looked into and had a discussion and presentation within the board of the UF. Who offered a bid? We had 2 bids for broadcasting. That was Solid Sport and AltTV. AltTV provided the distribution through YouTube. Solid Sport provides us this platform that we're looking at right now. And then we had 3 companies that were bidding for only production, and that was AltTV, Zoom Live, zoomtv.lt from Lithuania, and Capit from Finland. Ultiword was at this point unable to commit to this tender process. And I said before there was a difficulty between broadcasting and production. It was not very easy for us to only focus on one of these aspects. We were looking for the unicorn, basically. But in the end, we noticed that it is probably the best for us to go with a combination that actually features an approach that is very valuable for us from both worlds, from the production side and from the broadcasting side. So how did Solid Sport end up with the bid for this 4-year contract? It's a lot of things that Audi was already referring to, I will just quickly repeat it. It's the ownership of the platform that belongs to us. It's the ownership of the material, a big learning from the FanSeat cooperation. And we have also the full ownership on how we are selecting the games, how we are selecting the quality of the games, what scalability we need and want according to the tournaments. And I will also go into a bit of these details later on when we're talking about the season. And then we also noticed that we are lacking a lot of knowledge in other departments. And that's where I invite Andreas to talk about Solid Sport and the things that you bring to the table for European Ultimate.
Thank you, and I'm very glad to be here today talking about these things. And I mean, as already mentioned, Solid Sport doesn't come into this partnership to bring expertise in the ultimate sport. What we come into this is, of course, what you already start talking about. We want to support the EOF in everything around streaming and broadcasting with the expertise we have gathered through the 10 years we have been working with sports streaming and sports broadcasting in general in various of sports and across Europe. And I would say that we will come into that to the next slide as well, that one big strength of us is that we can offer our advisory in all of these questions and also help and support the organization of EOF to find the best setup for each event and together be able to offer the widest coverage of the EOF events. But above that, we also have, of course, a broad network of various of things you might need when you do streaming. It can be if they're looking for other production solutions, it can be AI solution, manual productions, or if we want to reach out in a better way through different types of our networks. And as you see here, to give you a little bit more of introduction of who is Solid Sports. So today we are a leading sports streaming platform in Europe. This all started 10 years ago when this brand was born. And when that happened, it was with a vision of solving a problem that we had identified. And that problem was that at that point, it was only a small percentage of the sports on a global stage that was broadcasted and distributed on television. And that was the top level leagues, the biggest games, and so on that was broadcast on television. So we had the vision of solving that issue, making a platform for all other sports, basically 95% of all other sports to have a platform to distribute their games and their events, but at the same time also doing that with a risk-free solution and with only a reward at the end by actually having a possibility of generating revenue from it. Because we all know that there are other solutions out there where you can stream for free, etc. But we wanted to come with something that can help sports grow, and by what Odi and Felix already mentioned, by enabling their own platform. That's what we offer here, that we want to offer a platform for EOF, where they can create their own community and also build a platform for the whole sport. And this is something we have now done for 10 years. And we have since then broadcasted 500,000 games through our different partnerships. And we work with everything from federations, we work with leagues, we work with single clubs, and basically from the lowest levels up to top levels, helping them solve this issue. Basically, how can you broadcast your sport in the best way and also reach the best outcome from it? And what's also very important to point out is, which already had been pointed out as well, is that we're not a rights buyer. We don't go into a partnership like this by buying the right or taking over the ownership of the rights. Instead, what we do is that we come in order to help our partner to build the right their own with our support, with our expertise and our services. And yeah, of course, our main thing is to offer a platform for streaming. But then, as I said, we will also offer solutions around that to help our partner do the best production and also find the right production for each event in order to make sure that it comes down to generating fundings back to the sports. So yeah, in short terms, that's what we bring to the table here.
Thank you. And with that, let's talk about the streaming plans of 2024. I see that there are a lot of questions already coming in the chat, so thank you for them. We will collect them and answer them at the end of the presentation. For the production setups, we have a couple of objectives. We want to select the quality based on the level of competition, number of teams that are expected at the event, the expected viewership, and the infrastructure that is available at these events. And with the network that Andreas was mentioning, we were also able to have more local production, so limiting transport costs, accommodation costs. That's also, will be handy in the future. Here, once again, we have full control of what we want to stream, how we want to stream it, and what we're streaming, and who is commentating, and so on. We have two setups that we will main focus on using this year. One is the high-level production, as we know. It's 1 to 4 cameras. It's directing directly at the field. We want to include extras like drones, like statistics, like maybe a roaming camera, extras that AltiTV introduced in the past. And we will have commentary guaranteed, and we want to have AltiTV as our main production partner for these high-level events. That is completely clear from our side. The other side of the production, where we can actually scale the operations and make it more accessible for multiple events, is the AI production, where we can use the Veo camera that we already have and rent an extra robot, an AI production from Solid Sport. With this, we're coming to the club season. The club season will, as you know, focus on 4 major stops. It's the spring tour, which will be produced mostly by AI, but that means that we will have minimum 1 stream per event, and that leads to up to 72 games. I will not repeat all the numbers that you're seeing here. Elite Invite, highest level, one of the highest tournaments that you can play in Europe right now, will have a high-level competition, and we might even have all 4 fields streamed at the same time. Summer Tour, focused again on AI production. Most of the players that watch, that are interested in this stream, are actually playing. And then EOCF is again super high level. We want to finish the season on a high note, high-level streams plus AI production to generate as much games as possible. And if all of this goes as we plan it right now, we will be able to stream up to 315 games in the season, compared to to a setup similar to last year, where we would be able to stream 84 games. So this is something that where we already see that this, even though we have lower quality streams on some of these tournaments, overall it will give access to way more streaming opportunity, to way more opportunity to watch your loved ones, yourself, your opponents, and so on. We also have additional championships, which is the Under-17 championships. We will also have, where we want to include high-level production for the last 2 days. And then we have the Masters Club Championships, where we're currently looking at with mostly AI production. Next up are the viewer packages. This was, again, an elaborate process with a lot of calculations that have been done. So this was not an easy process, but we are fairly comfortable with what we have come up with now. And it looks like this. It's possible to buy a single game, to watch a single game. That's the pay-per-view model, where for the AI production, it's going to be fee €4, high-level production, €7.50. Then you can have a tournament pass with €15, which gives you access for a specific time frame, but it includes everything that is on the platform. So, for example, if you're buying only the Elite Invite tournament pass, you will also get access to the videos from Spring Tour that are already on the platform. we will come to the timeline in a second. Last note on the tournament pass is that once this tournament pass runs out, you are also not able to watch video on demand. But there we have another opportunity there that I will talk about in a second. Then last, the UCS pass, so the club season pass, allows you full access to all the content that is available for the whole season. Yeah. Regarding the timeline, we start of the season, 1st of April, spring tour, however you want to call it. We might have the opportunity to already cover or individual games outside of the spring tour. For then, tournaments are happening. Summer break in July. This is where we want to make everything that was already streamed free to watch on the platform, and the season pass will be minus 50%. Then during the whole year, we want to have special campaigns for discounts on specific periods, and more information on how these setups, these campaigns might look like are coming soon. And after the season, the content will be free to watch on our platform. And at some point, we also want to make it available on YouTube, but the timeline is yet to be defined. Okay, that was quite a lot. Thank you for sticking with us. We can now move to the questions.
All right, so I guess we will start. This is a lot of interesting stuff. Keep the questions coming in the chat if you have more of them. I'm guessing some people might be showing up late, so it might be that we have to ask questions we've already answered, but we'll try to get to new stuff first. But yeah, we're here to try and make this as clear as possible. So Nemo, are you going to put some questions on the screen and we start with those?
Yes.
All right, so we'll start with this one. And again, these were all accumulated from the Google form that was sent out. These are questions that came from everybody. So here's the first one. What research and data indicates that this decision towards solid sport will be profitable and supported by the community? And I'll give that one probably to Nemo or Audi.
Yes. Audi, do you start?
Yeah. As we said, we are a volunteer organization, so we are not able to do marketing research. But we that was one of our main point, as we said, that we want to be the owner of the stream. So it's our platform, it's our product, it's European Ultimate, and Solid Sport is helping us on the technical basis, and will help us to make the right decisions for the broadcast, and also to find, as we said, maybe production companies or production tools, that will help us to have a good product that doesn't cost the player, that doesn't have to be paid by the player.
Yeah. Not much to add. Is that
I guess there was another question by Ashio that kind of is on this same vein. Do you have any estimate on how many non-players might be interested in this package? I mean, obviously you haven't done all the research, but you're trying to move the cost from the players to the non-players with this idea. Do you have any idea how many of them will pay?
Well, it's, I mean, for us, it is not necessarily moving. We are realistic in this part. We don't expect that suddenly, without clear indication that it worked before. So let me rephrase that. Sorry. So, with the data that we have from YouTube, we don't have a clear indication that non-players are watching more streams than without YouTube. We know that we have 25,000 Ultimate players in Europe, And at the moment, when you're going to a tournament and there is a stream, or that was the model in the past, those players, those very limited number of players, paid for the stream to be available for everyone to watch. And now we are counting on the whole community coming together to create opportunity for more people to have the stream paid, and at the same time with this financing the sport, investing into the sport, and also making it more accessible to countries that might struggle with the player fees that we currently have.
In principle, maybe there's also the basic idea is that we don't want to force somebody to pay, like the players we have said, yeah, you have to pay for the streaming if you participate for that tournament, and then give the possibility to everybody to watch. Maybe you, yeah, it was no guarantee, of course, that this team or this player would have been on stream on, and we want to move it to an opt-in. So if you want to watch it, you can, yeah, but you are not forced to pay and to make it available for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
So, can the EUF demonstrate how the new broadcasting agreement will provide a more positive experience and allay concerns members of the community may have about a deal that, on the surface at least, seems very similar? And I think this is meaning very similar to the Fanseat agreement, that there were a lot of, and what I saw from the feedback on different channels in the Ultimate community, a lot of people were not super positive about how things went with Fanseat. So I think that, explaining that could be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, the ownership, I think, was covered enough. We don't need to get into this anymore. But Andreas, maybe you can share a little bit about how the platform is operating. We got feedback about choppy streams for Fanseat, poor Chromecast support, stuff like that. How does the Solid Sport platform support these things that are so beloved from YouTube?
I mean, it's not like we can say that we have the same capacity like YouTube, but what makes Solid Sport unique, I would say, on the market is that we have a very scalable platform, and we are one of maybe except YouTube and Twitch that can handle a very high volume of streams today spread out in Europe, and also that. We have talked a lot about ownership, so that I don't need either to talk about. But what we also create is we have created a custom sports platform for streaming, and also one very important thing for us to succeed as a sports streaming company going into both low-level sports and maybe what you would call the semi-premium sport is that we needed to make it easy for everyone to stream on our platform. So regardless if it is a production company or a local team who wants to broadcast a youth game, we need to be able to handle that in a user-friendly way. And that's all the reason behind the success we have made with having today 5,000 teams, clubs, events streaming on our platform today. But of course, I mean, buffering streams or issues can always appear, but that is in most cases related to infrastructure, internet connection, those type of things, which we support our organizers and partners with by helping them prepare for their broadcasts in the best way.
So maybe on that note, I can ask a couple things about the player. People mentioned Chromecast support, streaming to smart TVs. That's what people like to do these days. How does Solid Sport work with those things right now?
Yeah, we support both Chromecast and Apple TV. So you can Chromecast to your smart television from both of them, either from our app or if you have an Apple TV, you can also do it from a browser. And from an Android, you can, of course, do it from a browser to a Chromecast as well. So there's no issues there. Of course, as a streaming company, this is critical things because when you want to stream a game, you want to be able to have it on your TV.
Cool. Another thing somebody in the chat asked, is there any way to scan in the video during a live stream? They were saying that the player they're currently looking at right now, they see a play button and no way to kind of move. If you
You
want
mean to like rewind and that
if you want to
stuff?
rewind a few minutes to see a replay or something, is there a way to do that
It's
now?
it's not a default feature and it's not activated for this live stream. The feature is called DVR and we have it, so we can activate that for live streams. So that's the feature they're looking for, which is not default. Because if we would have that on 100,000 games, there will be a huge cost for us. So we activate that for certain streams, but it's available for the UF events, for example.
Okay, so it'll be available for when we're having live streams up.
Yes.
That's good to know. I'm trying to think if there are any other questions that were specifically about the player. None that I can think of at the moment, so I think you can move on to another question. If I think of another one, I'll come back to that later.
Maybe you mentioned something like the keyboard support.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Keyboard support. Yeah, that was one thing I was curious about. On YouTube, there's a bunch of little shortcuts that people are quite used to, being able to hit the back button on their keyboard to go back and things like that. Does that work with your system, or is it mainly just through the clickable UI?
No, I would say it's a clickable thing. Not exactly sure actually, but we don't have the same key shortcuts as YouTube. That I'm pretty sure about. But I would say, of course, most of our viewers watch on a phone, and then it's you click with your fingers, or on when you're on desktop, you have the buttons in the screen basically. So, but we don't have the keyboard shortcuts. What I know.
Okay. We'll move on to this question. I had another one for the player, but yeah, we have this one on the screen now, but I'll come to that other one later. Is there a testing period between the EUF and Solid Sport, or is this locked in for the next 4 years?
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to answer that, but I can start. We have signed a long-term agreement together, and of course, both of us have the goal of fulfill that agreement together. But of course, there will be a critical period, especially the first year, to make sure everything works, get to know each other, find the best proper solutions. And of course, we will also evaluate the partnership along the way, making sure we are on track with the goals we've set together. But of course, we have a contract, and we both aim to fulfill the full contract together.
Yes,
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Yeah. It's really we have signed this contract with confidence that it will give us an absolute benefit over the full period, and we don't aim to cut this short.
No, and I mean, talking from experience, I mean, we work with I think it's 20 federations today in Europe, and a lot of different leagues and events that we go in long term to, because we know it will take time to reach the end goal we have together, which is, as been mentioned, broadcasting all the games in the EUF events, and maybe also extend that further into inviting more organizers, etc. But we know it will take time, and we're humble. We will need to develop along the way, but first we'll secure that this first season becomes as successful as possible.
All right, cool. Yeah, maybe take the question off for a second, because I'm going to go to the question that is the most important question that I think I've seen a lot here, and that I told you I was going to ask you. Basically, there's many flavors of this question floating around right now, which is like, how much are players really saving? So I think this does seem like a great platform, but we are paying a cost. When things were free to watch, it was super easy to share with your friends. It was super easy to have anybody watch it. So we are paying a cost as an Ultimate community by not having free to watch games anymore. I think there's no way around that. The main benefit financially seems to be that the players going to tournaments no longer have to pay for the streaming. If we get down to it, we can put everything else around, but that seems to be the main trade-off that most people are seeing this in. And if you think that's the wrong way to look at it, you can also say that. But the main question is, how much are players saving? There has been people floating around numbers that, if we're only saving €5 per player for a tournament like UCF, like that's something probably most people will be willing to pay. If it's €50 per player, maybe that's different. Do you have, I was thinking about a couple different scenarios, but maybe think about a team that's going to Elite Invite and UCF. They were probably the types of players that were paying the most, relative to the rest of the community before. how much is a player that's going to those two events saving compare in this new system versus what you would have had to do if you were to keep everything free to play?
Yeah, it's a long process to come to an answer here. I think we mentioned before that we want to be able to scale the production quality based on the number of players, basically number of teams that are present at the tournaments. So this really is a huge effect on the tournament budget, the required infrastructure for the tournament, and then the respective streaming. So the numbers that we have seen in the past was that an EUC, for example, in Limerick, 15% of the costs were going to streaming. For a spring tour, it was nearly 50%, 50.
Mm-hmm.
So what we already implemented this year was that we have a spring tour, elite invite, and summer tour as a flat fee, 200 euros team fee, 20 euros players fee. If we would keep it the old way, we would need to double the players fee. This indeed for some might not be a lot, but it was also the number one comment that we've gotten on the feedback of our tournaments, that the players fees are too high and we need to come up with solutions to reduce them. We obviously, I also saw the argument that these 20 euros per tournament, they are dwarfed by travel and accommodation, and this is something that we simply don't have as much impact on as we would like. But at the same time, we also looked at this with the new EUCS system, where the teams can actually decide where to go to in order to save travel costs, in order to save save costs. Because in the past, one big example for me last year was a team from Munich not being able to go to the EUCR, despite being one very high level team, and maybe even making it to the EUCF. So there are these different layers to it, and we really believe that this in the first year, yes, you can still say these 20 euros, they don't make much of a difference. But in the end, if we would have kept the same approach, these 20 euros become 25, 30, 35 in the future, and it's just growing and growing. And with Andreas on our side and SolidSpot on our side, we suddenly have an opportunity to not only keep the tournament fees as they were to the past this year, but actually think about opportunities, how we can raise new finances, new opportunities, so that we can actually invest into the sport. And maybe, and that's also a vision, like a vision is always for me something, if it's too realistic, then think bigger. So with this, I feel like we can have the opportunity so that sponsors are coming in, so that they are paying for the tournament and most of the tournament costs, and players can focus on playing.
Okay. So yeah, about 20, let's say we're thinking about 20 to 30 euros per tournament, which means if you're playing, just to answer my question more directly, I guess if you're playing Elite Invite and UCF, that'd be something like 40 euros per player that you're saving. It's costing you 48 to get access to the video now, so it's a bit more, but of course now not every player has to do that, so it's of course a bit different.
If you look at the season pass, indeed, for the tournament pass, it's 15 euros, and so we also made a very conscious decision here to be lower than what we would need to raise the tournament passes to.
Yeah, and just to clear up on that tournament pass, you said that you will only get, basically what the tournament pass buys you, just to be absolutely clear, it buys you access to the SolidSport Ultimate platform for the weekend of the tournament you're at, but you don't then get the ability to watch the games afterwards, right? But you'll only be able to get, like, let's say you don't have the season pass, the only way you'd be able to get to watch the games afterwards is waiting for the summer break or after November?
Yes, that is correct. So there are certain periods that we where we have the tournament pass available. So the summer tour will be quite a short. The spring tour will be quite a short one because Elite Invite is coming up quickly after. But then Elite Invite could be longer. For example, these timelines will be clearly visible once you purchase these. We will have a lot of description here to make clear what you're actually purchasing, and also there Solid Sport has a whole support system in the background that will help you find out and assist you if you're unhappy with what you've bought and so on.
Okay. A question that's coming in on this note from what I just said is that you talk about how this could bring sponsors in, but the question is why does this give us more ability to get sponsors than the UltiTV model? Maybe Andreas can speak a little bit to that as to how he thinks that Solid Sport will help us get more sponsorship rather than doing it the way we were doing it before.
Yeah, I mean, talking from experience from other partnerships where we also provide their own platforms is the community and the context. I mean, one fresh example of our bigger federations here in the Nordics is that if they would be on YouTube, it will be very hard for them to sell the same type of sponsorship on a platform they don't own, but to package a sponsorship package on their own platform with their own brand, where they also have all the data and ownership of the platform, they can package it in another way and also make a better deal with their sponsors. And it's not only about having a logo in the production. It can be that you are basically having multiple placements and options of creating this full package for a sponsor, not only in-stream advertising. But we have the same advertising engine as YouTube has, for example, and our advertising engine is built together with Google, actually. So, but above that, we can offer other type of sponsorship placements as well.
Okay. There's a comment, since we just talked about the tournament pass, and how that seems to some people to be not a great option for the people playing the tournament because they probably want to watch the tournament at least the next week. Of course, they can always get the season pass and then they have access the whole time. But have you considered at all letting the tournament pass maybe run for a few days after the tournament so that people can?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe. So I think that
I mean, to clarify, a tournament pass is that you will have full access to everything on the platform during a limited time, and you will see when you're buying basically during what time do I have full access to the platform. And of course, that should include the live content and the on-demand content for a certain time.
Okay, so it won't be that on Sunday when the last games are played, you'll shut off your access. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay.
No, so I would compare it to buying a concert ticket. You're paying to go and watch a concert, right? And it will give you access for certain days. This is similar, but it also includes on-demand content.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe you can throw up another question from the FAQ. So will there be free-to-watch games during tournaments? I mean, I think there was from Ultiworld at times when they also have a paywall, of course, and they sometimes will have like special games that they make free to watch. Is there any, maybe some final or some key game, whatever? Is there any way to have some free to watch games during tournaments?
Yes, there is. We have a limited amount, but we want to choose them carefully, and so therefore we don't have them set yet, which they are, but they will be communicated in time and will be available probably still on Solid Sport, because that's where we want to have our viewership in our community, but it will be free to watch. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Go to the next one. Yeah. How will you make sure that friends and family, especially grandparents, have an easy way to access the stream? I think a lot of people know that their parents are not going to pay for Solid Sport membership. That's not typically people. Well, maybe some really nice parents will do that, but grandparents maybe not. How can we give access to our friends and families to watch these streams?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. That's our most common buyer on Solid Sports. That's friends and family and grandparents. Since we're broadcasting a lot of games on lower levels where they don't have like 10,000 viewers, but those who wants to watch really is the parents and friends and family. But I mean, to explain how we can ensure this, I mean, just like many other streaming platforms, you will create your own user account, and then when you go into the platform, you have different type of payment options. You can pay with your credit card or PayPal or what type of payment method you would like, basically. But as Nemo pointed out, and it's important for us to point out this as well, is that we have our customer service support as well, working 7 days a week. So if you would struggle with logging in or having troubles with your credit card, you can always reach out to them, and you will get help as soon as possible. And usually our support is very quick in response. So any type of questions regarding payments or logins, you can always reach out to support@solidsport.com and you will get help. So yeah, I guess that's the answer.
I want to push on a little bit on this this topic. There's a couple things that people have mentioned and that I also thought about. One person mentioned RSS feeds, and if there's any way to get notifications when a team you like is going live, or just maybe whenever the EUF is going live, or something like that, to set that up. Because your website now has tons of sports that we don't care about, quite frankly, and we only really want to see when Ultimate is going live, if that's the case. How does a user do that?
I have two recommendations then. So don't go into solidsport.com, go into the EOF platform instead directly. And secondly, press the follow button on that platform, and you will get notifications as soon as they publish content. And you will also be notified for those type of things. So yeah, if you go to Solid Sport, you will need to find the EUF events among a lot of thousands other games. So both Solid Sport and especially EUF will need to push out that URL the best we can. So you go directly to the EUF platform and then press the follow button.
And one more question I have on that, especially when we're looking at VOD. One thing that I know was very hard to do on Fancy and was very easy to do on YouTube, because of course they're run by Google, is searching for games. Can you, like, if I put in a team name that I'm looking for, will it do you think it will be able to show up quickly all the games that are on the VOD from that team name, assuming they're of course all in the titles or whatever? How is the searchability on your website? Because I remember with Fancy it wasn't great, and of course YouTube is perfect at searching. So
yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I say we had the same SEO optimization as YouTube, since they are owned by Google. But of course we're working with this. We want to be. I mean, it's very important for us that our content is easy to find on search engines.
Sorry,
we know also.
Let me. I meant specifically your search engine. So
Okay,
I don't think many people. Maybe of course SEO people are searching for a game. That's one way. But if I go into your platform and I search for a team, well, how well does that work?
Yeah, I mean, on the platform we provide for EUF, you will be able to find basically in the game section. There you can find every game, and then also in the search bar you can search for specific teams, etc. So it's similar made as YouTube, but as I said, we cannot really compare to exactly the same search engine as they have. But of course, we're aiming to that.
Okay.
But of course, I mean, if you go to the EOF platform, you will not be able to, like on YouTube, or if you go on Solid Sport, filtering out between thousands of streams, then you will only filtering on basically the ultimate streams that is on that platform. So I would always recommend to go directly there to also easy find your game.
Okay. So I don't think that was maybe super clear to people. So there will be you don't go to solidsport.com. There'll be a, I don't know, live.European Ultimate Federation, or I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe Nemo and Audi, can you talk a little bit about
You have the QR code here you can scan, and then so they have their own domain. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nemo. It's ultimate live.eu.
Live.ultimatefederation.eu. Yes.
Yeah, correct. So that's the one way to go for finding your game for Ultimate, instead of solidsport.com.
Okay.
It's our it's our platform, it's our stream, it's our thing, yeah. And it's hosted by Solid Sport, but yeah, we are the one that decide what's going on and what will be presented and so on. Yeah.
Great.
There was one more question regarding the payments. I think, Andreas, you mentioned it, but maybe you can go into a little bit more detail. Is credit card the only way to pay for Solid Sport?
No, we have other options as well. Of course, PayPal is one of them, a global payment provider. And we have some local options as well. For example, in Denmark, we have mobile pay and some other similar solutions in Europe. But all credit cards are accepted. And then if you don't want to use a credit card, you can use PayPal.
Are there like easy, like on the live.euf platform, are there URLs for each game that are on that so that it's easy to kind of share out if you want to say,
Yes.
hey, watch this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be unique links for each game, yes.
Okay. Cool.
And they will also be, as we know it, they will be prepared upfront, so they are accessible, shareable early on, and yeah, this also comes for the AI production, that we will prepare all the streams as soon as we know them. So Sunday is always more tricky than the Saturday when it's pool play, but you can share them upfront and let your family and friends know that you're playing.
And one more note on this, Ian French just asked, what is the Solid Sport policy on creating additional content using Solid Sport streams? So there are some people that have like analysis channels that will maybe want to look back on a game and show on Twitch how the strategy worked out or discuss something about a game. Do you have any policies about this?
No, I would say we encourage that. A lot of our partners and clubs uses our content for analysis purposes, and we are just happy that we can offer that type of service as well. So as long as it's not like a live stream, that is of course something else. But to use on-demand content for analysis purposes or even promote stuff on the platform, we just encourage that.
Great. Naaman, do we have any other questions from the fact put up?
Yes, here's a more detailed one regarding guarantee.
Yeah, so could you guys expand on what you see as new potential revenue streams? Is it just that you're spreading out the streaming costs? You talked a little bit about sponsorships, but maybe do you have any vision for new revenue stream sources that Solid Sport are able to enable? And I think here it would be good to mention if there's some way that it would be different than if it were just on YouTube. So what are the additional revenue streams aside from spreading out the streaming costs?
So for me, the first indication how this partnership was really impactful is that when we talked about the press release, Andreas was asking me, when do you send it out? Because we want to send it out to our journalists network. And that's a network that we would not have access to. You mentioned something like 500, 600 journalists. And we also saw that there is interest from networks to talk about this, and these visibility hopefully creates interest in sponsors, product owners that either support the tournaments or support the federation in financing individual items or financing streams or financing I don't know what, so that we can get investment into the sport, money from external companies into the sport. This is not only limited to the partnership with Solid Sport. We also have a marketing manager that is one of our 3 part-time staff members that helps us develop more content, more products that we can then not only, we don't want to always sell to our community. We also want to sell outside so that people are giving money to our community.
Yeah. I can add one more thing that we also work with other partnerships is that, with our platform with all these sports, of course, we have built partnership with the biggest media rights owners in Europe, and they come to us asking to buy certain games, for example. And this is also service we believe we can provide for EUF. Let's say you have one of your top events with top games from different countries. There are a possibility to then make a possible deal with a local TV house in that country and in the other country, and selling either exclusive or non-exclusive rights. This is a very common thing we work with. But all in all, the ambition is, of course, to gather everything on the EUF platform, but then also open up opportunities to sell non-exclusive rights in local TV houses, for example.
Cool. All right, I have one from that I've seen kind of throughout the bit here. I did notice that the discussions about UltiTV's involvement as production said words like "we hope" and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about what the status is with UltiTV as a production company? Is that still being worked out? Is that final? Yeah, and what's the status there?
Yeah, so we just got word today that UltiTV is putting their heads together to offer us production for the tournaments. So we are waiting an answer there. That's all I can say at the moment. I don't have more information. So we understood that there is still common agreement that we want to use the ultimate expertise that they have built in the past to continue streaming our tournaments. And I think there is also relating to this, who will be commentating the games.
Ravi.
Good question.
And also here, Andreas and Solid Sport was from the get-go supportive of having the production companies that have expertise in Ultimate on the ground still running the show to stream, because otherwise we would make a step back and maybe introduce new companies into streaming, and that's maybe something that we will include in the future, we include in the future. But for the moment, we plan to work with UltiTV.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's possible to have multi-language streams. I know it's something UltiTV did a few times in the past, and I think some people really appreciated that.
Yeah, we don't have any such limitations either. It's all about what the EUF wants to offer, and of course, comes down to costs as well. But the possibilities exist, yes.
Do you know a bit about the specifics of that? Would you have like an ability to choose the language on a single video, or just have multiple videos that one would be in each language? Or do you know anything about those details? Or
yeah, it will probably be multiple streams then with multiple different commentators. So basically, if you want to have it in English, you watch this stream. If you want to have it in Spanish, you watch this stream, for example.
Cool. We got a question from Ned Garvey following up a bit on what you were mentioning a little while ago. Has this exposure model that you discussed worked in generating revenue in other sports with similar numbers of players? And do you have any examples?
Yes, I mean, we have plenty of examples. I mean, one of the federations that we started with from the beginning, we started on a white paper, nothing was streamed. Today we stream 30,000 games a year with that federation.
Which sport is
generating handball.
Handball, okay.
Yeah. And for example, the latest example I would say is figure skating. There's not as many participants, but as I would say it's a sport that maybe is not famous for being the biggest sports on television, even though the biggest contents are. But they had a similar situation as Ultimate. They had streamed for a long time on YouTube. Moved to us. Was also afraid of going to a paid model. But now we work with them for 1 year, and every single organizer has been very successful with this. And of course, there will always be, you can never expect that there will be as many viewers and as when you have free, but they kept the majority of them. And also now has not only financed the production costs, they're also making profit, which can be reinvested in more productions.
Those sports are a bit bigger than Ultimate, I would say. Have you worked with sports, other sports that are more our size, or is this one of the smaller sports you've worked with?
I mean, we work with bowling, we work with table tennis, badminton. I would say we have touched upon a lot of variety of sports. It's hard for me to compare exactly with Ultimate, but I mean, we in Sweden, for example, work with American football. It's a very small sport in Sweden. They are making good progress with us, and we have done some what is called rugby in Finland. It's various sports, and so far what we have seen is it's all come down to that every sport has their community, and it's all about how much are the community willing to pay to get a certain service. And what the ambition here is not to just charge for the same service. We want to offer an extended service, a wider coverage, in order to the community to feel that it's actually worth paying, because we'll get more than you have been able to watch beforehand. So it's not about only just take what has been, put a paywall on it, and then expect everyone to be happy. We want to come with something more and extend that coverage and use the fundings in investing in the sport and the productions. That's how we've worked historically with all partnerships, and so far all of them have a similar pattern in growth and results. Yeah, and I mean, we wouldn't exist if this did not work for the partners we work with.
Okay, good. Nima, do we have any other questions in the chat or in the FAQ at the moment?
We went through everything at the moment, so waiting for new questions.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the chat a bit longer and see if there's anything there coming up. Because I think most of my questions have been answered. So if anybody else in the chat, we'll wait. We'll maybe wait a couple more minutes. A couple minutes is a long time not to say anything on air, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, one person's asking this question. I had the same question. Are the number of viewers visible anywhere? Because if I just switched over from the Solid Sport to the Ultimate Federation, and there's no viewer count at the moment.
Yeah.
And when I was
Also
on the Solid Sport one, there was a 0 viewer when I started, and it also somewhat froze there. So, yeah.
Yeah. That is also not a default setting. We can also be activated if you want to have public viewer numbers.
So here's a question. I think that last question is has been answered but I can put it back out because maybe somebody's put in late. I think this is a question maybe that would actually do well with a direct answer, because a lot of the community saw this initial announcement as sort of an announcement against LTTV. I think that's the impression a lot of people got, was how come EUF has decided to, like, I think they see it as like punishing LTTV. What did they do wrong? Why are we changing things up from them? And I know you mentioned that they could be still a production partner, but maybe you have another answer. So the question specifically is, why don't you start a deal with LTTV? Why don't you trust and appreciate all the work they've done for Ultimate? I mean, it's a bit of an emotional question, but I have seen similar types of questions asked by many people, being disappointed that it seems that this is a decision that doesn't appreciate the work LTTV put into developing streaming for European Ultimate when nobody else did.
So in the presentation we mentioned that we feel like we now have basically chosen the best of both worlds. So where LTTV is really good is in the production on the ground, streaming Ultimate. And where Solid Sport is really good is in providing a platform that makes sense for us as a community, for the ownership, for the networks that we are unable to reach, for the knowledge that we are unable to gain without external partners, without a lot of education, without a lot of finances in the background. So now we have the opportunity to learn from the knowledge from Solid Sport, increase the knowledge, and then at the same time have the expertise from AltiTV on the ground at the tournaments, similar to the past. And yeah, I see, I can understand how the initial announcement made it look like this, but at the same time, at the moment, we have to, I really believe that we have basically chosen the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so I think just to make it absolutely clear, like, UF still wants to partner with AltiTV in their production and think that that's been great. So
Yeah.
it's just changing the distribution model a little bit. And some, of course, I'm sure AltiTV is disappointed because they also bid for the distribution as well. But that's the way things go as sports grow. So I think that's. Adi, did you want to add anything to that? It seemed like you maybe wanted to say something. Or
just want to really to stress that we know how much work AltiTV put in together with us to stream European Ultimate for 4 years, and everybody really ran the extra mile, and the decision exactly to keep on working with them, it's for us settled. They are really the best for production, but if we want to come closer to the vision that we have seen to stream every single game, we have to think a little bit also out of the box, and be able to get those expertise that Solid Sport is able to give us. So it was absolutely not a decision against somebody, but a decision for hopefully everybody, for the community.
The second question, the reason I didn't ask it before, but since we have a bit of time now, I'll ask it now. The reason I didn't ask this question before is because it seems to be more about the UCS than about the broadcasting partnership. But Fiona Myrna and I think Ian French also asked this earlier, is how is this new system saving teams money when before they only needed to play regionals and now they'll need to play 2 tournaments instead to get the 10 games? So how do we see that as saving teams money? Because I think you mentioned that, Nemo, at some point.
Yeah, it's I think it's a bit of a misleading question, because this question would indicate that
you play one tournament per year.
Exactly.
That's it.
and that's not the case. But with the UCS system, our aim was to create more tournaments that mean a lot for a European season, that give an opportunity to have these tournaments for they also had to qualify through nationals, obviously, which is a very local tournament and so on. But
well, in principle, is with the system that we have built, we have tournaments that are organized by UF. That there are many, and they are announced very early in the season, so that the teams can apply for them, and everybody at the moment that applies also gets a spot, ideally in the preferred one, and they get to play really the best of breed in Europe. And additionally, they can play any tournament that also has some standards that they would go anyway, and earn also their ranking points, and getting 10 games in a season. It should be really the least one that you want to play, and then be able, of course, to be part of the elite of Europe, and being in the top 16, and then participate in the finals. And yeah, this combination of keeping the fees low and having very early in the season, in beginning of January, the tournament list, the cost, and you know where you go, should really reduce also all those points that we said, the accommodation and travel cost, because then you can plan the season in January, and the costs are of course much lower than if you decide 1 month before where you go to the next tournament. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I won't drill down too much more on that. There's another comment, but I think this isn't quite the forum. The purpose of this is mainly to talk about the broadcasting partnership. One question, I mean, I think this was answered quite clearly, but Marila Verde asks, do players get free access to Solid Sports when they are giving their time when giving their time playing? I think basically you're saying the players that are playing, do they get any free access to the streams? If it's them on the screen.
No, there is not automatic free access for the players on the ground.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's clear.
What we said is that after a couple of weeks, then the content would be free to watch. So we said in the middle of summer, everything that has been played before will be available on the platform, and then in November,
the whole season,
you have everything available on the platform. So let's say that this being behind the paywall will be for some months, yeah, but it won't be like, let's say, taking the example of FanSeat, that it's always behind the paywall, yeah? And you have no chance to watch it without a subscription. Yeah.
By the way, maybe also a good point, something to point out, and maybe as a wrap up, we are also working on finding a deal with FanSeat to get our content back.
Hopefully get the Győr games on on this new platform so we can watch them back again. That would be great. I think that there's a good question there, which probably is related in some way, is that let's say something happens to Solid Sport or something happens with this deal in the future and people no longer want to come to the website. Let's say, God forbid, like it happens with FanSeat, that you change platforms. How can we guarantee the archivability of some of our historic games so that, let's say, 10 years down the line from now, the Solid Sport deal is no longer going on? Now, like you said, right now we can't watch the games from Győr. Are there things in place to make sure that we can watch these games later on?
Yeah, and the big difference is that UEFA owns the content, and if we end the agreement, they have the right to move the content with them.
Okay, we have one other question from Ashley Yo on mobile. He's having to refresh the page multiple times to restart the stream. He has good internet. Is this a common issue with the video player, or maybe probably something on his end? Or
what was the question?
He's on mobile and he is apparently having to refresh the stream multiple times to get it working. I don't know. For me, I've had it on my laptop. There's been no issues so far, but is there some issue on mobile that you're aware of
No, there would be people running behind me if we had that type of issue. But sometimes it of course can be related to his internet or something else. But we don't experience that type of issue right now.
Okay. So we'll hope to see that's just some issue on his end. Great. I think that's about it. We've been on here now for about an hour and 20 minutes. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for your questions. I hope this at least helped to clear things up. Whether or not you liked all the answers, that's different, but at least you're informed. I hope some of you do like the answers a little more and are a bit more comfortable with the new agreements. It is what it is. We're going to have to see how it goes. I hope for success. So, yeah, that's it. I'd like to thank Audie, Nemo, Andreas, also Helen, who's been behind the scenes helping us out with producing the stream as well. Thank you to her. That'll do it. I've been Rai Vasudevan for this European Ultimate Federation live Q&A broadcasting partnership, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Grazie e ciao.